Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Sydney, Chef Elizabeth. We're doing stir fries and curries today. Summery, although you could do it any time of year.
Well, the reason why I chose it for the summer is because you don't have to turn the oven on unless you're doing the baked tofu, but that way you're not turning the oven on and you don't heat up the house. So that's why the summer came in there.
See, yeah, love it. Okay,
There's always a
There's
reason.
always a reason.
Always a reason behind my madness. So today is a little more madness than usual, but we have some new people that we're doing this video with. So we're doing this video with Summer Harvest, which is a local charity. So we are located in Seal Beach, California, as is this charity. And so they provide food to people in the community over the summer. And I like to provide fun recipes to help people make these food items. So we're doing basically, I would like to show you today how vegetable dishes such as curries and stir fries are mix and match. So maybe you don't have all the ingredients for a recipe that's your stir fry. I have a recipe today I'm calling a Peruvian stir fry, which is only using soy sauce and red wine vinegar. So it's like a Peruvian type of like lomo saltado or pollo saltado is where the inspiration is coming from. And that's how they flavor things with a little bit of cumin, some garlic, some ginger, soy sauce, red wine vinegar, and that can be a stir fry. You can also just do vegetables and your choice of protein and just squeeze some lemon juice, or soy sauce, lemon juice, and garlic is a really good combination. Soy sauce, any sort of vinegar. So anyways, we're also going to do a Thai style with some peanut. Sydney sent me a recipe not too long ago with some miso in it as the curry base instead of like a typical curry paste. So we're going to do one with miso. So we're just going to have some fun mixing and matching.
Yeah.
And 4 different proteins, 4 different types of dishes, 4 different sauces. And then we'll talk as we go about ingredients. Feel free to, those of you who are with us live, feel free to chime in live and ask us questions. Those of you who are not with us live, feel free to reach out and ask us a question at chef@cookingclasses.com and we will get back to you.
But if you're live with us and you want to ask a question, like she said, pop off mute and verbally ask it. But if you're shy, you're welcome to send me a private message or a public message, whatever you choose, and I will read it out loud. And if it's private, I will just pretend that it's my question, and but we like the engagement, we like the questions, so please keep them coming throughout the whole duration of the class. And I'm actually I don't think anyone's cooking along right now, which is nice. Well, I mean, I would hope that you would just choose like 1, maybe 2, but
yeah, it's not meant to all be eaten at the same time. It's meant to be more of an educational process.
yes.
So let's start with some pans.
Okay.
So the first thing is we're going to make our curries in this pan so that it has some sides and it's going to be able to hold the liquid in a little bit easier. And we're going to make our stir fries. So basically the difference between our curries and our stir fries today is the curries will have coconut milk that will help simmer the vegetables and the proteins and cook them, whereas the stir fries will not have the coconut milk. So we're going to use our stir fries in these pans. And these in French are called sauté pans. And sauté means to jump. And so that's why we have these pans. You can easily push your food away and then make it jump in the pan. No, so nothing fancy, nothing, just a regular old skillet. With or without sides, we could actually make our stir fries in this pan and our curries in this pan. It's just that this would be more likely to have the liquid kind of leave the pan. Whereas, and then this one would just be harder to toss your vegetables around, but it really, these are interchangeable. But I am choosing this one with the sides just for the curry because we are going to have extra liquid.
What about I have a question. Like, what about woks? What are the pros to using a wok?
So we have our burners at home only have a certain amount of gas. And so the problem is that if you don't have that huge output of gas underneath your wok, then it doesn't heat up as well. So this flat bottom pan fits our home stoves much better. And also, I am not a fan of having a million different pots and pans. I'm a fan of having like 2 and using them for everything. So this is a really great stir fry pan because it fits to our kitchen burner the best. And then it distributes the heat really nicely that we have on our type of home burgers. So like if you notice, woks are often used where they have like a base that has a huge amount of flame
that's going up the side.
which we don't have at home. So that's why this nice flat bottom is going to give us more surface area, which is going to be able to cook it really fast. And that's the whole point of a stir fry, is start to finish. The stir fry is finished in 5 minutes.
All right.
In terms of cooking, now the prepping does take a little bit more time, but nowadays you can buy a bunch of different produce that's already ready to go to, or you can cut it ahead of time and get it ready. But start to finish 5 minutes for the stir fries. The curries take a little bit longer because we are going to slow down the cooking by adding that coconut. And we're going to then simmer the vegetables, which is going to make it cook a little bit slower because it's simmering in the coconut. Okay.
And I want to get just a visual on what we have going on here, because there's a lot of beautiful.
Yeah, and so
Flavors.
I know that everybody has different tastes. They like to, or you have different things in your kitchen. Like I'm not a fan of bell peppers, and if I am gonna use them, I would much rather than be like extra raw. But I love zucchini, I love broccoli, so I could just eat, those two. So everybody has their own favorites. So I like to do this type of a dish where it says 4 to 6 cups of any of these vegetables. So there's a million vegetables that I listed, and it's whatever you like, whatever you have. The only thing that you'd like to remember is two things. How long does that vegetable take to cook? So for example, sweet potatoes, eggplant, they do take longer to cook than let's say bell pepper. But bell pepper can cook longer. And also, like I was saying, bell pepper, I like to eat it more raw. So take into consideration how long something to cook and then how you like to eat it. So do you only like your broccoli crunchy? If you only like your broccoli crunchy, then you're going to add that in at the very end, or you're going to cut it much larger. If you only like your broccoli extra well done, then you're going to cut your broccoli smaller, and or you will add it in the beginning. So think about how you like things to be cooked, and then you're going to add them in accordingly. And that's a process that you might not get it right the first time. So you might have a curry or a stir fry where you say to yourself, I would have preferred this a little crunchier or a little softer. So you make a note on your recipe for next time and write that in. And then that way, the next time you do it, you can adjust it and put it in, at a better time for what you're looking for, and then improve your dishes each time you make them. Because I only give you guidelines for these things because there's a lot of things that happen that me writing the recipe, I can't foresee. So how many times are you going to stir your stir fry? My stir fries, you'll see when I start making it, I don't stir them at all, basically, because the more you stir them, the more you take them away from the heat that's cooking them, and the less likely it is to brown. So the browning is only going to take place when it's stuck to that pan and left alone to get hot enough to brown. So I don't stir my stir fries, and I try not, and all of our classes here, I try to I try to have people just put their spoons down and not stir. So that's the one thing. So if you're stirring constantly, it's going to take you 10 times as long to cook your stir fry. If you're not stirring at all, then you're going to be going along the lines of what I am saying in the recipe. But we have 2 stoves here. One has a lot of gas. The other one has a lot less gas. So I don't know, is your stove at home electric? Is it gas? Does it have a high output, a low output? Those are the kind of things that I can't know about. So you want to look at what's happening in your pan and what you're smelling, what you're seeing, and then improve over time based on your pans, your vegetables, your tastes, and your ingredients. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to start with our first curry. We're going to do a curry with a protein that cooks quickly and a protein that takes a little bit longer to cook. So the protein that takes a little bit longer to cook, we're going to start that in our pan first. So I'm actually going to heat up my pan. I'm going to put this to the side. Our protein that cooks quickly, we are going to add that in later. The protein that takes longer to cook, we're going to add that in first. So same thing for you would do this whether this is a stir fry or a curry. Okay. So our protein that's going to take a little bit longer to cook is going to be our ground turkey. And we're gonna do this, well, we still didn't really decide if we're gonna just go with the recipes or totally go off recipe and change things up.
I am okay going off recipe because I feel like we're teaching like
Like the philosophy
Right.
of a curry.
So
right?
basically
The
we just,
philosophy of the curry
Yeah.
is
so we ask ourselves, okay, what sauce do we want with our turkey? Do we want a green curry sauce? Do we want a peanut butter sauce? Do we want a soy sauce, vinegary sauce? Do we want, what's our last one? Oh, miso. So,
I like the miso with the fish a lot.
okay, miso with fish, we'll keep on that one.
I think we could keep
it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
well, the peanut would be good.
Okay, let's switch
Peanut
those.
sauce, you want to switch them?
We're gonna switch steak and peanut, just to keep you guys on your toes. Right?
Yeah.
So that means we're gonna switch out
The curry. So we're gonna put the curry. with the
curry,
beef,
oh no, wait.
curry
Coconut.
and curry and fish. Yeah, I think we need to keep this one.
We can do it. Well,
And
well, wait, what did you put in here though?
peanut butter. I also used some black bean. I mixed it up. I did like a combo.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally
Let's
fine.
do it.
Yes,
Do it.
I'll show you.
We're gonna
Promise.
do it.
But we're gonna send this over.
Yeah.
Yes, the lime and the fish sauce. Okay. So we just switched out the sauce elements, and that's
Just
it.
to keep you on your toes.
Okay, so the first thing we're doing is the chicken and vegetable curry. Turkey, sorry, but we're using turkey. I'm going to just put these in a little pieces at a time.
So this, oh yeah, this could be ground turkey, this could be chicken thighs, it could be.
Right, and
I mean,
those
it
are
could be like
all
any,
things that take longer to cook.
ground cooked fastest.
It's all, well, it cooks faster than chicken thighs, but also, if it is really quick cooking, I would put it in the end. I'm not quick cooking, I guess it's a better way to put it is quick cooking, and you don't want it to be overcooked. It's really hard to overcook a ground piece of meat. It's really hard to overcook some chicken thighs. So I didn't put any oil in there because there's plenty of oil on the ground chicken, turkey. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. And then,
Oil meaning fat.
but yeah, oil meaning fat. Because we've got plenty in there, okay? And then we're gonna then just have to decide what type of vegetables we're gonna throw in there. And
Yeah, because we have a whole.
We have a whole assortment. We could really do whatever we wanted, right?
so we have some green onions, we have some zucchini, we have some summer squash, we have some potatoes, bell peppers, bok choy, green beans, broccoli. I think we just kind of just take
Yeah,
a little bit of everything.
yeah.
We've trimmed the green beans, just trimmed off both edges, both sides have been trimmed. And I'll show you how we dice everything up. I've also just cut the mushrooms in half. I forgot those mushrooms. I did save these 2 mushrooms to show you though. So this mushroom, I would not need to trim anything. There's nothing wrong with the stem of this mushroom. This mushroom, I just need to trim this part off because it's just it's got a little bit extra dirt that didn't come off when we rinsed it. So I'm just gonna trim that. And then I'm just cutting the mushrooms in half. If you want to slice them, slice them. If you want to quarter them, quarter them. If you want to leave them whole, leave them whole. If you want to use any type of mushroom, do that. We're just using brown button cremini mushrooms. Okay, so my meat has browned. And so now I'm going to move it around, but I wanted it to stay in. I didn't move it around in the beginning because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten that caramelized flavor. So now I'm going to add a little bit of oil and add my vegetables that take a little bit longer to cook.
Like if we want to do, let's throw some like
Sweet
sweet potatoes, yeah.
onions,
You don't have any onions.
the green onions.
Oh yeah, the green
Yeah.
onions. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Grab these, sorry. So I'll put my sweet potatoes in. Oh, mushrooms are good. Then some
I like overcooked
mushrooms.
mushrooms.
Yeah. And then the broccoli stems do take a little bit more time to cook. So I'll go ahead and put some broccoli stems and some other things ran in there, but there we go. So we just want to get these started. And now that I have some browning on the bottom of my pan, I don't want it to burn. So I do want to make sure I am now stirring a little bit. And the next thing I'm going to do is get ready to add my next layer of ingredients, which is over here. I have ginger and garlic in all of the recipes, and that's because it just adds a fabulous flavor. But I want to make sure that it starts to cook. So I did move things to the side and I'm adding it straight to the pan. Also, if you were using your miso paste or your curry paste, in this case, we're using our peanut butter, you put that straight on top of there too and get that a little toasted and flavorful. And then we're going to add our coconut milk, which is then gonna help kind of bring this all together. So you can, if you shake the coconut, it tends to blend it a little bit. If not, you just add it all in. So I left my heat on high. Probably could have turned it down because I was having to rush. And now I'm getting a lot of steam coming up on my hand. So here I go in with the coconut milk, and I basically want to just combine this together. So we changed this up, and instead of doing green curry paste, which we had planned, we could have done red curry paste, we could have done miso paste, we could have done yellow curry paste, we could have done curry powder. We did peanut butter.
I feel like this peanut butter sauce mixed with the coconut is going to be real magical.
Yes, it is. It has been done before too, so
And that's
it's not just like a crazy thing.
just to be clear, everybody, the peanut butter sauce is already all mixed together. So there's like soy sauce in there and sesame oil.
Okay, so now all we do is ask ourselves is, how long is it going to take to cook these vegetables? How long is it going to take for us to cook this protein? Protein is pretty much cooked now, but it will not be harmed by being over simmered in this. If it were chicken breasts or fish or steak, it wouldn't be as nice overcooked. But ground turkey, ground chicken, or chicken thighs, you can't really overcook them. So we basically just want our sweet potatoes to be tender. So I'm gonna say in about 5 minutes, we will add in the rest of the vegetables that we're gonna put in like another 2 handfuls of vegetables. Hey Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes. See if she's gonna do it. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna let this sit at a simmer for 5 minutes. And then we'll put in some more vegetables, let that simmer for another 5 minutes, and then we're done. Okay, a simmer is a tiny bubble. So we don't want it at a rolling boil. We just want it at a tiny, tiny bubble, which means that nothing's gonna burn, but it's just going to gently cook all of those vegetables that are in there. And then we'll move on to our next curry, which we are going to make. Oh, it's the fish. So it's going to be a different process because we don't want to overcook that fish. So the fish isn't going to go in until the last 5 minutes. I'll show you how I dealt with that. Oh, and I think we should do more miso paste. Okay. Unless you have an aversion. So this one is miso paste. So miso is fermented soybeans, and you can get it in red, in white, in yellow. White is the mildest, yellow is a little stronger, and then red is even stronger, but it's what makes miso soup. It's just a really nice umami style ingredient that's going to give us a lot of flavor. So you'll notice in the recipe it calls for 2 to 6 tablespoons of this type of ingredient, whether it be curry paste or miso paste.
This is white.
So this is the mildest kind. So I'd say we can go even to like 4 to 5 tablespoons.
Yeah, definitely.
And give us some more flavor.
No one's mad at miso.
No. And make sure you taste it raw so you know what you're dealing with. Because it's very salty. So we're not going to add any other salt to this because the miso paste is super salty. Okay. Or deliciously soft. And then we have the same other ingredients. So we have our ginger and our garlic. We have our coconut milk. We have some lemon juice. Now the lemon juice, any type of dish, whether it's a curry, whether it's a stir fry, whether it's a stew, a braised beef, a risotto, or anything, any type of dish will a taco, anything will benefit from a little drizzle of acidity at the very end. So
Salt, fat, acid, heat.
yes, well,
Salt,
you
fat,
don't need that. You don't need to eat, yeah, salt, fat, acid.
Salt, fat, acid.
So anytime you want to drizzle some acidity, a squeeze of lime, a squeeze of lemon on something, it's just gonna wake things up and bring a nice balance to that. So that's what we have there. We're using some tilapia. It's farm raised tilapia. You can get it anywhere nowadays, and it's sustainably, if you get it from the right place and you want to know where the right place to get it from is, go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and they have a list of sustainable seafood that you can look at. And it's a really nice fish. If you remember back in the like 80s, 90s, etc., tilapia got a bad rap because it wasn't the way they were raising it, catching it, etc., wasn't great. But nowadays they have turned it all around, and tilapia is a great option for sustainable seafood. So we're going to use tilapia. It's going to go in at the very end because it cooks very quickly. And let's start that. So we're going to go straight in with our vegetables this time. Or actually, we're going to go straight in with we'll go straight in with our ginger. Oh no, we'll go so the longer cooking vegetables will go in. I'm gonna put my pan. Sorry guys, it's a little got a lot going on. So then you looked at me like I was crazy when I walked in, and she's like, "This is a lot," but it's so that you can see the different aspects of it. So gonna heat my pan. We're gonna go with our longer cooking vegetables. So let's go with some mushrooms and some sweet potatoes. We'll finish up those sweet potatoes. Okay. The sweet potatoes, and if we'd had regular potatoes, we want to avoid that in a stir fry because, like I said, for the stir fries, it's 5 minutes start to finish. So we wouldn't have enough time to cook the sweet potatoes or a potato. But in these curries, we are going to be simmering them. So they do have a little bit more time. Here's a little fun thing. This coconut, it's fat. So if you want to use the coconut fat to help start cooking your veggies, just take off a little bit, and that's coconut oil, basically, to help you with your browning, which is going to help. So we're going to start that off. Then we're going to move our vegetables over to the side, add in our ginger, our garlic, and our miso paste, kind of get those flavors toasting up, making sure our garlic is going to be cooking. Okay. And our ginger is going to be cooking because we don't want it to be raw. So that's my 5-minute timer. So now I want to add in my remaining vegetables to my other dish over here. So these are the quicker cooking vegetables, which would be zucchini, summer squash, some broccoli, a little more broccoli. There'll be some crunchy broccoli, some less crunchy broccoli. And how about some bok choy? Oh, green beans. These are longer cooking.
Yeah.
Green beans in our curry too. Green beans.
You want bok choy and
Yeah. Bok choy. Bok choy. Okay. Okay, so I can smell this is browning. So that means I move it to the side, and I want to add in, no, it's all good. I want to add in my ginger and my garlic, and you can see the fat. Well, we can see the fat on the bottom of the pan. So ginger, garlic is going to go in, and miso paste is going to just kind of toast it up and get it nice and brown. Look at that beautiful sweet potato. That's exactly what we're looking for. There's this little brown bit. And then mix this around so that it starts to heat up. And then we will add our coconut milk. stir everything around. I'm gonna reach over here.
So do you always want to use full fat coconut milk?
Unless you absolutely have to. If you're not allowed to have fat, then you can use other things. Otherwise, if you're allowed to have full fat coconut milk, it's going to be the most flavorful. If you just use low fat coconut milk, you won't have much flavor. So I would not recommend it, but if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. But all that coconut fat is going to be tremendous flavor. Okay, so our green beans, our sweet potatoes, our mushrooms, all gonna simmer for about 5 minutes. I need to stir this though. I'm not paying attention to that one. And let me start my 5-minute timer again. So I have not put these veggies yet in to the liquid, which means they're not really going to be cooking. So I want to stir these around and then try and get my raw vegetables in there. Another thing you can do is you can put the lid on this and that will help cook it. But all of these vegetables are full of water. So they are, once they start to cook, they're going to release their liquid and this liquid level is going to increase. So that's why we're using 1 can of coconut milk, because if we used any more, once these vegetables release their liquid, it's going to be way too soupy. There we go. Just simmer that and check back on these guys. Okay. So I turned this heat down because it was super, super hot. So I just wanted it to come to a simmer. So tiny bubbles.
So what is the word curry? We're not using the curry spice here.
No, so the curry spice is actually not a spice itself. It is a blend of spices. So all curries are just blends of different spices and ingredients, like the Thai green curry. Well, let's talk about the Thai green curry. It's right over here. Our next one. So the Thai green curry. Oh, you know what though? I did notice a mistake in my recipes. I will correct them by the time some of you guys see this, but it doesn't ever say when to add the fish sauce. The fish sauce can go in with the coconut milk. However, I'm going to taste the miso one first because miso has a lot of salt. Fish sauce is all salt. So if it's already salty, I don't want to add more saltiness. And then same thing over here. I think I could use just a shake of each.
Yeah.
So in each of the curries, I'm going to add a shake of fish sauce with the coconut milk.
Can you? Okay, fish sauce doesn't sound super appetizing,
And it doesn't smell appetizing either. Don't smell it.
but it tastes,
It's just liquid gold.
I will say, it does taste amazing.
Don't smell it.
Don't smell it.
Don't spill it. We
Don't-
spilled it on
don't-
camera one time. That was not fun.
Oh,
I forgot but we need some
onion.
onions. Again, we can eat onions raw. They can be crunchy. So it doesn't matter at what point I put them in. Here we go.
Yeah. Big handful of each, a
Yeah.
mix of greens and whites.
Greens and whites, yes. Okay. Oh, we were talking about curry paste. What is curry paste? So this green curry paste is made up of,
They make the opening on the
I
upside
know.
down.
so there's chili pepper, and typically the chili peppers are green because most everything that goes into green curry paste is going to be green in color. There's chili pepper, garlic, ginger, shallot, lemongrass, basil, kaffir lime leaves, sugar, spices, which is coriander, pepper, cumin, cardamom, turmeric, galangal, which is like ginger. It's orange. It's a root like ginger. And then fresh coriander, which is just cilantro. So you can buy it in a can, or
You can make it. We made a delicious, oh, you
It's
have a
so
great
good.
recipe.
I know.
We did a VCC with her green curry, so good.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of that stuff in it.
It had all, yeah.
Yeah, same ingredients.
So it's a blend of things. So Indian curry powder is a blend of cumin, coriander, cinnamon, saffron, cayenne, pepper, fenugreek, fennel seeds, cloves, cinnamon. Did I say that? What else? Ginger, nutmeg. It's just a blend of a million different spices. So it's just an easy way to get flavor because somebody has already taken the time to go ahead and do that for you. Get all these ingredients together. There's also simmer sauces you'll find out in like Trader Joe's usually has a lot of simmer sauces. Same thing. Usually it's combining this curry paste with some sort of liquid so that it's just a dump in, you know, you don't have to open the can of coconut milk or it's
Like a
just,
broth. or
yeah.
something.
So let's see. Let's do tofu.
Okay.
Because that takes about 20 minutes to cook.
Yeah, so that's just gonna chill. and
That's just
the
sitting there.
veggies are gonna soften before we throw the fish in,
Right.
right? Okay.
Yes. So that's been 5 minutes. Let me just give it a stir. So now these are at, one is at 5 minutes of cooking and one is at 10 minutes of cooking. So that means that this guy should be, we gotta just check to see if the sweet potatoes are tender. But this guy should be close to being done. Another 5 minutes and we should be good. And I mean, so
If we
super
wanted
easy.
to expedite it, should we like?
Oh, yeah, if you want to expedite it, turn up the heat a little bit and cover it.
Okay.
And that's what, and then it does, you can just follow the recipe.
Okay.
Just want to make sure that these green beans get in there and get cooked. But they, looks like it. Oh, and I was gonna check this. I don't have a fork. Check sweet potatoes with a fork to see if they're done or check them with your mouth.
A bite check.
And it's like 5 minutes from being cooked. So
Okay.
we're good to go on that. But I want to show you how to do the tofu because we get a lot of people that ask about tofu. And this is my favorite way to make, first of all, I don't like to fry things at home. I like to bake things whenever possible. If you have an air fryer, that's great, but you can't fit a lot of things in an air fryer. So we like to do this oven baked tofu. And it's really, really nice. So you want to start off with firm tofu. Well, first of all, I'm a fan of tofu, just dicing it up and then throwing it in. So you would just take this when your curry is finished, dump it in, and I'm fine with that because of all the other flavors that are going on. But if you do want to make it a little more interesting, you take your tofu, place it on top of some paper towels and just place a big plate on top of it and then squeeze out any extra liquid. Start out with firm tofu and then dice it on up, place it on here, and we want to just toss it with some cornstarch and some salt and toss it around. So the cornstarch is just going to help draw, just help crisp up that liquid because tofu is a pretty liquidy ingredient. I don't like to touch cornstarch with my hands. It gives me the heebie-jeebies, like the chalkboard. So I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Sorry. It's a little annoying, but that's okay how it is. Okay, and then just to make it a little crispier, a little more flavorful, we are going to take some olive oil, drizzle that, and then sprinkle it with a little bit of salt. So just drizzle, and then we're going to toss it again.
Are we just using olive oil?
Yeah, just olive oil.
Okay.
I mean, lots of time Asian recipes, people say to use a different type of oil because you don't, sometimes people don't like to have the olive flavor. I only have olive oil in my house, so I use it when I bake, I use it when I fry, I use it to do everything. So but whatever oil makes you happy, canola, sunflower, safflower, grapeseed, peanut.
Oh, so heart healthy.
Yeah.
Good for your heart.
But it's a fat, and what they do is they add flavor and they help distribute heat, and each one has a different flash point. Olive oil typically is around 425, meaning you can cook things up to 425 so we're good. Okay, I did salt. I'm moving these apart because the more air that circulates around them, the crispier they will get. And then we're just gonna pop these in the oven for like 20 minutes, probably gonna be perfect, and they'll be nice and crispy and
Okay.
golden.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's do some veggies. How's everybody?
Everybody's groovy, no questions yet.
So let's do some veggies, because we kind of just threw these pre-cut veggies in. That's not very,
With some knife skills, you mean, like some
yeah,
cutting?
cut some veggies. Yeah, I just am making sure, oh, you can see now, look. See how much more liquid has come out of these
Yes.
vegetables?
Yeah.
If you don't believe me,
Delicious.
rewind it and take a look. So that's just the vegetable water juices, flavors that are being released from the vegetables as they cook. And creating this sauce. Okay, I am going to turn this heat off because I know that if I was eating it right now, I would cook it another 3 minutes. But since I know we're not going to taste it for another 20 minutes, I'm going to turn off the heat and just let it sit. So you can do that. If you're not ready to eat, turn it off and just let it sit. You can reheat it. You can make a bunch. You can freeze it, especially with the coconut milk. It is, curries are really great things to freeze because it's protected in the freezer with that coconut milk. So this goes there. This goes there. This goes here. All right, so we have a steak. Oh, that's cool. We have a steak and a tofu left. So the tofu is going to be like the fish. We're not going to even cook the tofu at all. We're just going to add it at the end. And the steak we're going to do at the very end too, because I'm not somebody that likes to overcook our steak. So
And the fish you throw it at the end, right?
yeah, which is kind of like right now. So I think I set another timer. In 5 minutes, we'll put the fish in. I'm gonna put some more. This guy needs a little more veggies in it.
Which guy?
The fish one. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some zucchini in,
Okay.
which is a very quick cooking.
Why do you feel like it needs more veg?
It just needs more
More
veggies.
umph,
Yeah, it's
more
like if you
volume.
look at the volume compared to that,
Yeah, okay.
I think we should do it.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Oh, and then let's add some bok choy too. So we're just gonna throw some bok choy on there. And that's gonna wilt in and be great. Oh, yes, we have so many. I love it.
I know.
I love it
It's
so
so
much.
good.
Okay, knife skills. Let's do some bell peppers. So bell peppers are full of vitamin C. They're great summer crop, but we can get them in California all year round. What you want to do is you want the outside of your bell pepper. You want to avoid the seeds and the white membrane, not because it's going to kill you. It's just a little more bitter. So when you want to get your bell pepper, you want to cut around the outside. So I'm going to make my first cut, which is going to be blind. I'm just cutting right into the top. And then I'm just guessing where that stuff is. So for the most part, I avoided it. I'm not going to even bother getting any more of that off. It's going to be totally fine. Now I have a window into my bell pepper. So I want to look through my window and cut around the stuff that I don't want. So there we go. And you either make 2 or 3 or 4 cuts, depending on what's going on, what size pepper you have, and then just cut around parts that you don't want. This guy was actually extra long and tall,
yeah,
so
that
it's a
was a
little harder to do.
Yeah.
But the idea is you don't want to put your knife down, start sawing into things and then have to stop and then start pulling things apart. Every time you put your knife down, you lose momentum. You're more likely to hurt yourself when you grab your knife back into your hands. So now you just take your peppers, stack them all on top of each other and just cut them into nice big chunks like this. Basically, whatever you can fit in your mouth is what you want to do. So I've got my bell peppers and I'm going to do the same thing with the green guy. So again, carve around and then you get that window in and then you want to avoid the stuff, the white and the seed, and then just keep turning. Oh, it looks like I have to do 5 cuts on this one because it was a little odd shaped. And then this is going to go in my, we like to make our vegetable stock here. So we just put all of our vegetable trimmings, onion skins, potato skins, all of that in. Okay, so here's my bell pepper. Nice big pieces of bell pepper. And we have bok choy to do. So the bok choy, actually this is baby bok choy. It's a little less bitter, but you want to just make sure that when you're washing these, you get down inside because it tends to have some dirt that accumulates down in there. And then once you do that, all of it is edible and it is very tender. So I just start slicing it into thin slices, and my cuts that are this bottom part, I leave them a little bit thinner. And then as it starts getting more and more leafy, I make my cuts bigger and bigger so that when I get to the leaves, you can see this is like about 2 inches. And then I started off at about a 1/2 inch or so, just because of cooking times. So the leaves are really quick cooking. The bottom part's a little longer to cook. And make sure you taste this raw so you know what it tastes like, not just cooked. Broccoli. Here's what we're going to do for our broccoli. I'm going to cut it in half, and that's going to give me a nice flat surface. And then what you need to know about broccoli is the stem part takes a lot longer to cook than the florets. The florets cook really quickly. The stem is a little longer cooking. So what I want to do is slice the stems so that it all cooks at the same time. So I'm going to slice the stems small, and I'm going to leave the florets bigger. So that's my timer also going off for my fish to go into my curry. But let me get this done. So I'm just slicing it into like 1/4, 1/2 inch pieces. And then I'm getting up to the top here, and I want to just break this up. So I have some thicker pieces of stem. So I'm going to just trim and cut these pieces of stem into smaller pieces. And then these florets, you can leave them whole like that. And then you can start just kind of cutting these into more manageable pieces, not too small. And there we go. So that's my broccoli. And again, the name of the game is everything needs to be cut according to how it's going to cook and how you want to eat it. So if you want your florets and your stems to cook at the same time, then you need to cut them into different pieces. So for my green onions, I'm just going to trim off this part right here. Sorry, I did say I was going to put the fish in, but then I decided against it. Just slicing this on an angle, nice big pieces.
Why do you do it on the angle?
So it doesn't roll off your cutting board, and then it looks kind of nice. And then I'm just going to keep going towards the top. And then instead of trimming what I wasn't going to use where it gets a little bit dry, I just held onto it, used it to protect my fingers from my knife. And then it's going to go right here into our bowl for our stock. Well, let's see. Put this right here. Okay, now our curry over here, our miso curry, which is right here, has been simmering. Our potatoes, our sweet potatoes are 5 minutes from being cooked. Our green beans are 5 minutes from being cooked. So I'm going to add my fish. And this is 5 minutes from being done.
And it's still bright green, like nothing has lost a lot of color or anything either.
I'm going to move the
So
veggies
good.
over just a little bit, just to make sure that the fish hits all of this. Woo!
And we didn't salt anything because we had so much miso, right?
Correct. And we had the fish sauce in there that's has the salt in it as well. So just get the fish coated with that little bit of yumminess.
Now, if I wanted to do a different protein with this, I totally could. I would just like cook it before and then dump all the liquids.
Well, if it was chicken breast, you would add it in now. If it was ground chicken or ground anything, you would do it just like this one. Okay. If it was steak, you would do it like this, right in here.
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Shrimp, right, just like this. Salmon, just like this. Lobster, sure. No, whatever you want. Okay,
Okay,
now
and that's on a low heat, right?
it's on a low heat. Yeah,
Okay.
it should be in a simmer.
Okay.
So the only other thing I need to chop up is some zucchini.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so for the zucchini, The way I like to do it really quickly for stir fries is take off the top and the bottom, cut them in half, and then cut them into quarters. Drop them everywhere. And then just cut them into a nice dice. And the same thing for the summer squash, same thing. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is get our last two stir fries ready to go. Oh, and we're gonna finish up with something in here. Let's see what's in our bundle.
Cilantro.
Cilantro. Oops. I am gonna clean up all this broccoli. I wasn't gonna worry about it, but now. Okay, so the cilantro is gonna finish everything off. It's gonna be nice and bright green. It's gonna add a really nice flavor and color, and it's gonna balance out with its freshness. So it's just been rinsed. I'm gonna leave it in the bundle so you can see that all of the stems are here. All of the leaves with the stems are up here. And so I'm only gonna use the parts that have the leaves. Actually, I can use the stem too, but once it starts to get, you can see the stems are getting really large towards the bottom. So I just want, if you do use the stems, just make sure you cut them up really small. But the one thing we do use the stems for is if you're going to make your own curry or curry powder or like enchilada sauce, which we're going to do in a couple weeks, or salsa, definitely use the stems and just make sure you cut them up a little bit smaller. Because I just leave them out. Oh, do sort through them though, because sometimes they could be a little. So Sydney's bringing out some snow peas, but since they're sometimes they have some oaky spots in them. So okay, so we're gonna do our stir fries now, start to finish, 5 minutes. Ready? Go. No. Okay, so let's do our
Oh, after we threw the fish in, do we wait for it to be all cooked up before we add the acid into the fish?
so when you add the acid, it doesn't matter. What does matter is the earlier you add the acid, the less acidity it will have. So as you cook something that's acidic, you mellow out the acidity. So if you add the acid in the beginning, you'll have very mellow acid. If you add the acid at the very end, it'll be very bright. So usually you wait until the very end so you get that brightness, but let's say you don't really like it to be too bright, then leave it out altogether or just add it in the beginning and cook it down. So, okay, so we're gonna do a vegetable stir fry with green curry paste instead of, I think we'd originally said peanut butter.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna use green curry paste. They're not the same thing at all. And the way we're gonna decide how much green curry paste we want to use for this is how spicy we want it to be. So if it's super spicy and we don't like it super spicy, we probably wouldn't do this recipe, right? Use peanut butter. It's spicy.
Wrong person to taste test live on camera.
Ooh. So yeah, it's nice and spicy. And I really don't mind the drink. I'll be okay. Let's hope I don't start crying. So I would say we would use like 2 tablespoons of this, but who am I to say? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start.
I'm gonna taste it now.
It's very good. I'm gonna put my vegetables in. It takes
really
a
good.
little bit of time.
It's really salty.
But that's good. I mean, that's what's
Yeah.
going to be flavoring this. So
Yeah. That is a very salty,
Ooh.
good heat.
So we have
You had a big bite.
I did. So we have our vegetables, and these are all cut. There's no longer any potatoes, so we don't need to worry about putting anything in the beginning or the end. So we're gonna put everything at the same time. So I'm gonna take my broccoli. Oh yeah, I didn't add any oil, so I'll go ahead and add it now. Oil, I'll take rest of the mushrooms. Oil is not necessary, but it does help get things going. But you can add it afterwards. There's nothing wrong with that. And then we're gonna just keep adding more veggies. So I'm gonna get my snow peas. I have some broccoli, zucchini, summer squash, green onions, snow peas. Ooh, some of these are not so great. Really? Well, that's okay. I just won't look that close.
I don't mind.
Okay. Get that in there. And leave it alone. Remember, I started off in the beginning saying, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Okay. Put some of these green beans in there. Put our tofu. So I have still not stirred this and it's on high heat. I want it to brown. I might give it a little more oil. If you want it to brown, here's our tofu halfway. Not quite crunchy. I think it would be great, but I'm gonna leave it in for a little bit longer. That was 15 minutes on the stove, so I'm gonna put it in for another 10. Okay, when the vegetables are halfway done, and you can tell that they're halfway done because the greens have started to get brighter. You can see how it's starting to get brighter. It is now browning, which means I can stir it, because if I don't stir it, it will burn. So now that it's browning, I'm gonna stir. And then when these vegetables look halfway, I will continue on. Now, halfway is gonna be very subjective. And it can be different for you each time and for each type of vegetable. So there's no right or wrong answer. And that's the whole beauty of this. It should be a fun experiment. And, if you want to, you can have a different stir fry every day of the week. And if you're going to be eating all these different vegetables every day of the week, that's pretty good. Yeah, this is about 6 cups of veggies. That fills a pan. Okay, I'm calling this halfway done. I'm going to move my vegetables halfway over as much as I can. And the reason is that I want some space to make sure that the next ingredients are actually going to get cooked. So I'm going to take my garlic and my ginger. If I dump my garlic and ginger on top of my vegetables, it's never going to get close enough to the heat to actually see some cooking. So I'm going to put it straight onto the pan so that it actually starts to cook, because raw ginger and raw garlic is very potent. A little more olive oil. I'm also going to take my curry paste, because the paste, the miso paste, the peanut butter, the curry paste, it's always nice to toast it up a little bit and just enhance those flavors. And then I'm going to take my quick cooking protein, which is my steak. It could be chicken breast, it could be fish, and pop it right there. Beautiful. And then that's it. The sauce is going to be created. We're going to add a little fish sauce and the lemon juice, and then the vegetables themselves are going to create the sauce on there. Don't stand in the way of the chili paste. Okay, so here's some fish sauce. You could add some soy sauce to this as well.
Highly recommend the fish sauce. Just do it. Very delicious.
Okay, now I'm going to turn off the heat. Okay. Add my lemon juice and just toss it all around. Okay. And the reason why I'm turning off the heat is because it's just going to continue to steam in the pan. And the steak, it looks completely raw. It's actually probably about 1/3 of the way cooked. So by the time this is sat in the pan a little bit more, the vegetables are going to soften up. The steak is going to cook a little bit more. And if you want your steak a little bit more done, cut them into smaller pieces. I actually left them into chunks so that they wouldn't be overdone. We're using a nice sirloin steak, and I cut it into a nice large dice. so that it wouldn't be overdone. If you want it to be more cooked, slice it into thin strips. I think I said probably strips in the recipe. And that's it. And the heat is off, but it's still sizzling in the pan. That's why I turned my heat off.
That's why it's like a stir fry, right?
Yes. And now this just sits until we're ready to eat it.
Okay.
There's that guy. Oh,
Lovely.
this guy, I turned it up because it wasn't simmering. So now the fish has been simmering for 5 minutes and it's about, just needs a little nudge, about 2 minutes from being done. But again, I'm gonna turn the heat off because the residual heat in the pan is going to finish cooking it. All the veggies are cooked. That one's gonna go off. This one was already off. You always wanna just make sure you re-stir things. Look at that. Kind of fun. Okay, next one. Last one. Whoop, look at that. Gonna be
501. Oh my gosh.
right on time. Okay, last pan, we're gonna heat up the pan. And this one is our tofu with all the vegetables and just a simple vinegar and soy sauce. So, and here are the vegetables we have left. We have zucchini, summer squash, bok choy, bell peppers, broccoli,
Spinach.
spinach. Oh, spinach can go into any of these at the last minute. So
Spanish third goes in last. Okay.
it just, you can throw it in, you can throw it in with the curry one. Go spinach. Spinach. There. Some spinach.
Are these all pretty much Whole30 friendly? Well, I guess technically gluten and
Soy sauce, but that's it.
Right, without, yeah, but other than that, yeah, and that's, and this, yeah, this soy,
And they could be easily made vegan.
yes.
All these.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna add in my veggies, so broccoli. Okay. Squash. Bok choy. Those I got bigger, save the biggest one for last. Bok choy and then peppers. Actually, we could add fresh peppers into any of these too.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
we might need
Fresh peppers. Fresh peppers. So what we're doing here is we're layering colors, flavors, textures. So nobody's mad at that.
No.
It's a little unorthodox in terms of like I'm going off recipe, but I'm trying to show you that there is no right or wrong. It's how you want to do it. Okay, there we go. Our salt element for this is going to be the soy sauce. So we'll wait, but I think I'm gonna just add a pinch because did you cut this soy sauce down or did you leave it whole?
No, you need to add the vinegar to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it in.
The red
But
one.
I mean, is this one whole recipe or is it half
Yeah.
recipe? Okay,
Mhm.
I'm still gonna add a little bit of extra just because I know that there's a lot of, this is way more vegetables than what it calls for. There we go. And what am I doing? Am I stirring this or not stirring it?
No,
Not stirring it. And when do I know when I can stir it?
no, let me start small.
When it browns.
Well, yeah, but how do you know it's brown?
Oh, you have to peek at it every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're wondering, you just, if you're not sure what's going on, first of all, watch it, smell it, listen to it, and then just every once in a while take a peek. Yeah, it's turning brown. So I could give it a little bit of a stir. It's always easier when you're doing these stir fries to stir with 2 utensils. So just kind of give it up. Yeah, and you can see the browning. But I don't want to stir constantly still. I just want to every once in a while just rotate. Yeah. Bring the stuff that's on the bottom to the top. And then let that stuff sit a little bit. Get a chance to cook.
No questions. Quiet group today, huh?
All right, so this is ready. So I want to toss in my fresh stuff. Be careful with your fish because did I not add this in yet? Where did I, oh, I added it to that, but not this. So this is my lemon juice for my miso curry. Did I need it for the peanut butter curry too?
No,
Oh, I put it over there.
Peanut butter.
Okay. So be careful not to over stir your fish, otherwise you're just gonna get like ground up fish pieces. My fish is definitely cooked and flaky, but it's lovely. Okay, I can hear that this is cooking a little bit more, so I'm gonna give it a little toss. All right, and when I deem my vegetables halfway done, we're gonna move them to the side. Add the ginger and the garlic. Sprinkle in that cumin. So here's the ginger and the garlic. It's gonna go straight on the pan so it actually cooks. Sprinkle in the cumin, which is the spice you haven't used, but it's actually in the curry powder, and it's in also it's in curry powder and curry paste.
And this is what makes it kind of Peruvian, right? Well, and the red wine.
Yeah. Because this is the lomo saltado sauce.
Yeah.
So, and lomo saltado is actually, it's like a hybrid of a Chinese stir fry and even South American ingredients. Here's our tofu. Beautiful crisp and crispy on the bottom.
My favorite.
Just don't touch the pan. Oh. Good. All right, and then now that's it. We're done. I'm turning off the heat right here so that everybody sees. Heat's off. I'm going to add the vinegar, soy sauce, and then we just stir it all around. And then this is going to get the tofu. I need them to get the tofu. And that is it. So I tend to do my stir fries a little on the crunchy veggies. I add a pot of it, and then that way when we reheat it the next day, it's not like too overdone. But if the crunchier you want your veggies, the less you cook them. The softer you want your veggies, the more you cook them. And then this is just gonna get topped with our tofu right here. So should we plate these up? Or do you just serve them in the out of pan, I think, right? What do you want to do? Plate them up?
I mean, times 4. I don't think we need to.
No.
Do we?
No.
I think this is a nice photo actually right here.
Yeah. Let's take. Or what? This is so easy when you use parchment paper.
Well,
Sometimes
you might need to
it's easy.
scrape first. Rinse them first, and then
Let's see.
when it cools off more, it pops off. We do that.
Yeah. You let it sit. Well, that's enough. The rest will just stack on. Like, there you go.
Okay, we have a tofu. We have a Peruvian tofu stir fry. Have a steak, and we did the peanut butter sauce.
No, that was the green curry sauce. We switched it out.
Oh, steak with
was-
green. Sorry,
yeah.
yeah, we did. I thought mentally I was switching, but steak with green curry.
And then this is the ground turkey with the
Mhm.
peanut butter,
Ground turkey with
coconut milk curry.
Mm-hmm. And then the fish with the miso. So protein, lots of veg, variety of sauces. To make it all taste very different. And then what? Top with cilantro all over everything?
Yes. Where did I put the cilantro?
I'm sorry.
Just right when you serve it, just get cilantro on top of it. Unless you don't like cilantro, then use basil. And the more you love cilantro, the more you can use. There we are.
Beautiful. What an exciting meal.
It smells so good too.
It does. It smells pretty heavenly in here.
All right, any questions?
So have some fun. Let us know what you think. Email me at chef@prepcookingclasses.com with any questions.
Yep. Or call us. Or Facebook us, you know.
Right, so for those of you who don't know us, we do cooking classes in Seal Beach. We have a storefront, we have a wine bar.
Check it out.
So anytime we're open,
There's a whole store here.
feel free to come and have a glass of wine in our wine bar. Or come to a class.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
All right.
And this is part of our virtual cooking club. So there's a lot of people on here that are with us every week for different recipes. So we do that as well. Okay,
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.